Good evening, everyone. This is Chris Schultz, Friday Night Victors.com. This is our 2024 Week 2 playoff version of our video picks, I guess, of the MHSAA playoffs. We are minus a man tonight. Gary, I think, is on baby girl duty. And so it's just Frank and I, which gives us a little bit more time to talk. Frank, how are you doing tonight?
Well, busy day at work today. Hey, and at least I'm able to do this with you. I'm still working on a few notes as well. So, and also be prepared for some trivia to be fired at you as well.
Okay.
Because I'm here to provide knowledge to the people.
Okay, well, I prepared a few notes as well. Normally, I just wing this thing, but since we're minus Gary, I thought I better bring something to the table. And if it looks like I'm in a different environment, I am. I am in the house because the internet didn't seem to be doing very well out there in the pitch, so I'm not in my friendly confines, so to speak, to steal a phrase from Frank. But Frank, why don't we talk a little bit about a couple of the games from last week? Why don't we Riverview 22, Trenton 21. Did you have any thoughts on that game?
Oh, I kind of figured that one would be pretty close. I think I predicted a 2-point margin of victory. It ended up being one. And then, that was actually a pretty gutsy call by Riverview choosing to go for two, go for the win. And Lucas Thompson was the one who made the play. And, I think a lot of people wonder, like, if you're in that situation, you just play for overtime or you go for the win. I think in Riverview's situation, they're on the road. They're thinking, you know what? As Herm Edwards once said, you play to win the game. And they did. They got it. And they're moving on. But I mean, I said this in our thoughts, not yours. You do have to kind of feel for Trenton because I know there's some of their fans read our stuff. I don't know how you managed to get kicked in the junk so many times. Four losses by a combined 6 points. I mean, that honestly, that has got to sting.
Well, yeah, that I would think that would sting. And I'm not laughing at the fact that they've lost four. I was laughing at your comment. I think it's the right call, obviously, by Riverview, probably because it worked, but I don't know a lot about that game, but I believe Riverview had a couple of long drives that they got inside the red zone and fumbled the ball away. So, I think it was a situation to where Derek McLaughlin thought, you know what, they can't stop us in 3 yards. We just need 3 yards to win the game. Let's go. Right. And I think that's what they did. So big win for Riverview. We'll be talking about their upcoming game with River Rouge. The game I was at, which was the IDA and Advanced Technology Academy game. Obviously, everyone knows that's where I'm the athletic director at. And we got taken out to the woodshed or the cornfield or something out there because they put a whooping on us. And I know I've been singing IDA's praises all year, and they have a great team. And I'll say this, we put the ball on the ground the first play of the game, and then they scored right after that. But I think in general, we played fairly well. Ida's just really, really good, and they were bigger than us. They were stronger than us for sure, and they had some speed as well. They didn't allow us to really utilize our speed, but on a couple plays, but really, really good game by Ida. Class program, class people over there. They were really welcoming and treated us well, and it was greatly appreciated. You got thoughts on the game, Frank, or you gonna stick it to me a little bit? What you got over there?
Well, I'm not one that likes to stick it to you, Chris, because I know your Lakers have only been a program since 2018. So this has got, but I will say for them, they've got to use this as a building block. Say, hey, we got to the playoffs for the first time in a 9-game season. We just ran into somebody who was on a different planet. But hey, you learn, as Derek Lawson, who I do a radio show with, has told me many times. He says sometimes in life you got to learn from a good butt whooping, and I would hope that your Lakers learn from that. They say, hey, oh, we got to learn from this, get better. This can't be the high point of the season every year. Or we got to get to the point where we're competing in these games, and then maybe we win one. But it's going to take time to get there. But I think it sounds like you've got the right people in place to get going in the right direction. And as for my Blue Streaks, they went out, did the job, took care of business. Dean Thomas did Dean Thomas things, averaging damn near 20 yards a pop. But as we'll get to a little later, this is where it's going to get a lot tougher as looming in the shadows is the boogeyman known as Jackson Lumen Christi.
for sure. So yeah, when you say we've got to improve, I mean, our kids are already asking when can we get in the weight room, and it's like take a week off, guys. Just take a week.
Well, Chris, I will say this. The fact that they're saying they want to get in the weight room, that tells they say, hey, we want to build off this. So I'll say it again. You got the right people in the right places, at least from a coaching standpoint, and
Mhm.
you also got players that are wanting to do the right things as well. So those steps are being taken.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's good on their part.
yeah, I agree. So, all right, one other game, and then we'll dive into this so we could spend time in the upcoming games. Clinton 38, Whiteford 32. We all picked Whiteford to win that game, I believe, and I was a little surprised that it was that high scoring. But give me your thoughts on that game.
Well, I thought it would be I thought it would be somewhat close. I mean, we all swung and missed on it. Thought Whiteford was going to be able to get it done. They had played a somewhat tougher schedule. Clinton was not as explosive as they had been, but it sounds like they've kind of made some changes to their offense. Andy Fair, who had been their quarterback and seemingly on his 14th year of eligibility, they moved him to receiver, tight end, starting a freshman, Graydon Whalen, who I actually saw when he played in eighth grade. I refed one of his games, and I kind of figured he would be the heir to the throne there, but that time came a little bit sooner than I expected. And I mean, he actually played pretty well. And I mean, Clinton's a good, they're just as good of a squad, too. They put attention to detail. That one ended up being a pretty good battle. But I mean, Whiteford just wasn't able to stop them when they needed to. And by the time they got close enough, it was too little too late. Hey, but I don't think the Bobcats are going to be going away anytime soon.
Now,
Teakin said he's only got 5 seniors on the roster. Her and a lot of players coming back, including Trey Eitner, two more Ruddy brothers, Drew and Breck are both going to be back as well. And they always seem to have a solid JV program as well. Also, things will still be going forward for the Bobcats.
yeah, I would agree, and certainly not a bad loss. It was just two good teams playing each other, and one has to leave, and that team is Clinton. They'll be headed over to Navarre Field on Friday. So let's jump into our games, and make sure you visit our sponsors, Cakes by Stephanie's. Obviously, we talk about that all the time. Uh, Also, we got Bedford Septic and Sewer. Please let them know you heard about them from us. And then we got True Champions, the recruiting service, and then Remax Masters. We're not going to go with the game of the week, uh, but I think they're all our game of the week. So Remax Masters as well. So, all right, let's jump into this first game. Let's go. Livonia Franklin this is Division Two, 6-4, is at the Marauders of Gibraltar Carlson, 9-1. Uh, I'm going to throw this out there real quick. A couple of things before you start talking. Franklin's had 10 straight seasons in the playoffs. Uh, Looking at their schedule, I'm not sure if they have a good win, but they do have some good losses in there. Maybe Allen Park's a good win. I'm not sure. And then Carlson's averaging 43.5 points per game. They got lots of weapons, and it appears like Isaiah Wright might be right. So, anyways, I'm gonna hand it over to you, Frank. What do you think?
Well, you mentioned Carlson averaging 43 points a game. I've said that they're a wagon offensively. Well, last week the second consecutive year, they broke the school record for points scored in a season. And they're going for their second district title in program history. And a fun fact about last week, hey, it wasn't just Isaiah Wright that was playing well, but Joe Krolak, their quarterback, those two combined to account for all of Carlson's offensive touchdowns. The only one that wasn't scored by them was a kickoff return by Avery Ortiz. Livonia Franklin, they're going for their seventh district championship in program history. Winner of this game will get either Orchard Lake, St. Mary's, or Farmington. I think it's going to be OLSM, but we'll see. I think Carlson just seems to have things rolling. This is their best offensive team in school history. I mean, I've said it time and time again. You try and take Isaiah right away. Hey, oh wait, Joe Krolak is running 70 some yards down the field. Whee! And plus you got Avery Ortiz, Landon Vita, all those guys. I think this is probably the most complete Carlson team I've seen. And I think Jason Gendron and company will keep it rolling. I will take the Marauders.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good pick, and that's probably the way I'm going to go. The one thing I'll say about Livonia Franklin is, yeah, they're very well coached. They always have a really good team, and I've seen them play quite a few times over the years. Uh, but I'm going to go with Carlson too. I think Carlson's just really really good, and I picked them to go to the semifinals anyway. And I think they'll get by this game, and hopefully they get a shot at Orchard Lake St. Mary's. So I'll go with Carlson as well. All right, let's jump to I guess it's Division 3. We have 5-4 River Rouge. The Panthers are at Riverview 9-1. Riverview gets a home game. And a couple of things on my end, not real sure what the Panthers' best win as well. I think it's probably that Huron Heights team who only had one loss out of Ontario, and other than the Rouge game, they had one loss to a good team out of Ohio. Uh, you know, they're not particularly high scoring, but they have a pretty good defense, I guess. As far as the Panthers are concerned, but Riverview lost to Rouge in 2023, and they're 0-4 since 1950 against the Panthers. So I got a little weird on my notes there. But anyways, that's where we're at. What do you think here, Frank?
Well, I mean, you mentioned Rouge is 4-0 against Riverview. Pirates are going to be going for their fifth district title in program history. The Rouge is going for their ninth. And of course, here's a trivia question. When was the last time that River Rouge lost to a Huron League team?
Uh, that's shit. Let me think about this for a second. That's a tough one. I'm gonna guess, and I'll try and guess who it was. 2008 or 9, maybe, and maybe it was the Huron Chiefs. Maybe, I don't know. That's a guess.
Nope.
Okay.
And nope.
Okay.
Would you believe that it was 2013 against SMCC? Believe it or not, back then both teams were in Division 5.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
So there's your little fun fact for the people out there.
Yeah, I whiffed.
And look, I know, I mean, I'll kind of allude to what I said on Bring the Wood the other night. This River Rouge team doesn't. I mean, they played a brutal schedule, but they don't really seem to have that star power that they've had in years past. They don't have a Nick Marsh out there or anybody of that caliber. And I think Riverview just seems to keep on going despite losing Ian Adams. You've got Nathan Pinkov stepping up. You got Ashton Robinson stepping up. You've got Lucas Thompson kind of playing with a I'm not losing this game mentality as we saw last week. And as Gary would say, Autumn is a pirate, and I think the Pirates will finally get that monkey off their back and get a win in a pretty close game, but they're getting it done at home.
Okay, good pick. Boy, I don't know where to go here because I just not sure if Rouge they have a bunch of good losses, but I don't know if they have a good win. I'm just not sure. And uh but they do have some players on there. They do have a D1 commitment there. I think I can't his name escapes me. A couple other Division two guys. You know, Rouge is developed a really nice uh tradition over there. I don't think it's a vintage Rouge team, and I think you can tell by their uh their record. Uh I'm gonna I'm gonna go with Riverview as well, and I think it'll be a close game. I think what we've seen when these teams have played last year and then 3 or 4 years ago that they're high scoring games. I just don't think River Rouge can score with the Pirates this year. I think the Pirates are going to go score their points. I think they're going to score 30. I just don't know if River Rouge can score that many against them. So we're both going with Riverview here. All right, let's go to our next game, Division 5. Detroit Voyager, who is 8-2, at Flat Rock, who is 8-2, my alma mater. The Rams are averaging 41 points a game. They went to the semis last year, finished third in the Huron League this year. The Cougars of Voyager, for those of you who don't know, Voyager Prep is located on the corner of Livernois and Michigan Avenue in Southwest Detroit. They're pretty athletic. They're well coached. Their athletic director, Ricky Gonzalez, is their head football coach. He does a really, really nice job over there. Anyways, go ahead, Frank. What do you think?
Well, this will be the first meeting between both programs. Blackhawks going for their third consecutive district title, also third in school history. And this is a kind of a strange but true. Graham Youngie did not account for a single touchdown in the win over Detroit Denby, which I find a little bit strange because usually I think last year and even the year before that, we're used to saying, "Oh, Graham Youngie's got to cook," and of course, but the thing is, Flat Rock's got the Zalay brothers, their running back duo of Ben Scully, Jacob Hagan, which is kind of making and Youngie's workload a lot less.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know how much cooking he's going to have to do in this one. Voyager, this is, I would say, kind of a fledgling program. They began in 2009. They're looking for their first district title. Oh, but they're also 0-3 all time versus the Huron League. And the last time they were in the second round, they lost to Chris. Who'd they lose to? Hint: Huron League team.
Roselle.
Nope. It was SMCC in 2012.
Oh, okay.
That was the last time they made it. So, I mean, I think from what you've told me, it sounds like Voyager is definitely a program that's on the rise. As they're getting things going, but I think Flat Rock is already established. I mean, there's probably going to come a time where Voyager gets there, but I don't see it being this one. Flat Rock's got too much firepower, and if Voyager does come out guns blazing, this will probably be where Graham Youngie has his Michael Jordan moment, just takes over. So I will take the Mighty Rams.
Okay, that's a good pick, and I think Flat Rock wins this game as well. I'm just gonna guess, and I'm gonna say Voyager decides to go, say we're going man to man. We're gonna bring heat. I think Scully might have been out last week, and I'm not sure if he's back this week. I think they're gonna. I don't know. I just think their speed might give Flat Rock a little bit of problems. Uh, we'll see though. Interesting note about Voyager: they don't have a home football field as well. They're kind of a lot like us. They play all their games at Dearborn High School, usually on Saturdays. Not sure where they practice. There's not a lot of green grass over in that area of the city unless they go over to the old St. Helwig over there. But I think Voyager will probably, much like maybe what Denby did against Flat Rock, give them a game for about a half, and then I think the Rams take over. So, all right, let's jump to Division Six and probably the biggest game of the night. You know, Ida 9-1 at Jackson, the boogeyman Lumen Christi, who is 9-1 as well. Ida week 3 lost to Hudson. Streaks are averaging 39 points per game. JLC is going for the trifecta this year. They've won the state in Division 7 the last 2 years. They opted up this year, much to the dismay of quite a few of the Division 6 teams, I'm sure. They're averaging 41 points a game. And I think in this situation, it's going to be interesting. I think Ida will be able to score here. I think they're going to be able to score. It's just whether can they stop Jackson Lumen Christi. I think this will be a close game at halftime. Lumen Christi's notorious. I can't think of their head coach's name. You probably know it.
Herb Brogan.
Yeah, he's been there for about 100 years, and he doesn't get out coached. It seems like that if they're down in games, they make adjustments at halftime and they really do some nice things. I think this will be a really good game though. So anyways, go ahead, Frank. Give your thoughts and I'll give you my pick.
Well, this will be the second meeting all time between both programs. They met in the 2011 playoffs in the first round. Lumen won that one 35-9. And it was kind of a typical Herb Brogan style win where if he gets up big, he doesn't look to run up the score. He just pretty much gets all his younger guys in, gets them some work, which I saw that firsthand when I refed them, not this past season, but the previous year when they beat Michigan Center. So Ida is going for their third district title, and they also need 6 points to eclipse 400 for the year. Last time they did that was 2016. Lumen is going for their 11th consecutive district title. Last time they did not win the district was 2013. Going for their 22nd overall. Now, trivia time. Who was the last LCAA team to beat Lumen Christi in the playoffs?
I'm guessing probably Hudson. Just because you're shaking your head, I'm going to go with Clinton.
You are technically right, but you're also technically wrong. While it was Clinton in 2015,
They were in the TCC.
Exactly.
Look at that.
So the last time a school that was an LCAA member defeated Lumen, you got to go back to Onstead in 2006.
Wow.
The Hicks that beat them in the first round. Oh,
okay.
And I'm not done with trivia.
Okay.
The last blog team other than SMCC to beat Lumen Christi was you know what? I'm gonna give you a hint. The team, when it happened, this team went to the state championship.
Probably Riverview.
You would be correct.
All right, very good.
In the 2002 semifinal.
Okay. All right.
So, but all that said, look, I've talked with a lot of my friends from Ida. I would love for my Blue Streaks to pull this off. And I talked with Cannon Dean, aka Goose Poop, on Bring the Wood. He says they have a shot, albeit small. I agree with him, but for football reasons, you don't just win 13 state championships in program history for no reason at all. I'm going to go Lumen. It'll be somewhat close. But I mean, Ida's going to put up a fight, but I think they're just going to run out of steam, and Lumen's just that much better than they are.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go with Lumen Christi as well. And I'm going to even throw it out there that I think it's going to be something like 30-24, 30-26, a close game. Uh, but I think Lumen Christi wins it. And I hope I'm wrong on that one. I'd really like to see Ida win. So, all right. And here we are down to our last pick. We're down in Division 7. We have Clinton, who is 7-3 at SMCC. The Falcons are 10-0. Clinton's 3 losses are to 3 T teams: SMCC, Ida, and Hudson. I guess CC still runs the T. It's just a different version of it. And then SMCC's averaging 36 points per game, but even more impressively, they're only giving up 7 points per game here. What do you think, Frank?
Well, I won't have a trivia question for you on this one, but I do have some numbers. This is the 11th meeting all time between both schools. SMCC leads that 10-2. Actually, it should be the 13th meeting, my bad. Apparently, I cannot do math today. This will also be the 6th meeting in the last decade between both schools, and the 3rd in the last about 369 days. Is that a little more than a year ago? They met in the playoffs. Clinton won that one and won the district. They met in the regular season opener. SMCC gets that one. So this one, I'm kind of billing as the rubber match, at least for a year's time. Falcons will be going for their 14th district title in program history. Clinton is going for their 8th. And look, I know a lot of people say it's tough to beat a team twice. I think Clinton, and they seem to have kind of gotten things rolling again. They matched their season high for points scored with their win over Whiteford last week. But when these two teams met in the opener, SMCC was kind of getting their new offense just going a little bit, still working out some kinks. Well, I think a lot of those kinks have been worked out. The pilot light is turned on offensively, but it's not just the Falcon offense. Their defense, I mean, how many times have I raved about how I think Brian Flint, their defensive coordinator, is just a mastermind? They've only given up more than 10 points 3 times all year here. And last 3 games, they have given up 6, 7, and 6. He's got it going. But I would be remiss to not mention the Falcons' special teams as well. And I wish Gary was here because I'd love to ask him this. When the last time SMCC had more than one game where they took more than one kickoff back to the house. They did it last week, so I have to give a call to Kyle McElvaney, who I was on staff with at Dundee, the job he's done with their special teams. They've got it rolling in all 3 phases. So for that, I'll take the Falcons to keep rolling as they seem to be on a collision course with Hudson in the semifinals, provided they take care of their other business first. But they're going to get it done at the friendly confines of Navarre Field, which is where I will be
Oh,
on Friday night.
okay, you got a hat. All right. Awesome. Hey, good breakdown there. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, going back to that week 1 game where what was the score? Central won, what, 22-14?
22-14.
Yeah,
And that was also the same score for when they met last year in the playoffs. So I don't think we won't see that again. I'll tell you that right now.
no, I think I don't think it's gonna be close. And it's not because Clinton isn't a good football team. I think SMCC is a great football team. And I think they're playing really, really good defense. And I think they'll give up 2 touchdowns tops. And as long as they take care of the ball, Central, which they've done all year, I think they'll score 30 or more. So I'm going to go with SMCC there. I think they're just in a better situation. There's a reason they're 10-0. There's a reason they beat Flat Rock the way they did, a reason they beat Riverview the way they did. Country Day as well. And then a reason they beat Clinton in week one when they were just sorting things out. I mean, two of their star players, God, their names are uh, the kid, the transfer from Milan, and then
Lucas Linzell and Brady Hines would be who
yeah,
you're
those two.
referring to.
Sorry, guys, I got the they didn't have much of an impact on that game, and they've had an impact on every game since. And I think it was, I mean, Hines didn't even carry the ball that first game against Clinton. So I think you're going to see a completely different team and a different score, and hopefully that doesn't put any pressure on the Falcons. I guess not any more than me saying that they're going to be at Ford Field over Thanksgiving. So, anyways, I'm going with the Falcons. So, that wraps up our picks. I don't think I missed anybody for the first time in a while. And you said you're going to the Falcon game down
Yeah.
by our field. Someone said that Clinton's going to bring 5,000 people. They better only bring 250 because there's no place to sit. So,
Clinton doesn't even have 5,000 people in their town.
yeah,
Tell you
well,
that right
yeah,
now.
you're probably right. So, I'm not sure where I'm going yet, but I think I told you before we started the show. I think I'm going to go over to Riverview and catch the Rouge Riverview game. I thought about something crazy driving out to Macomb, Dakota, and watching Eisenhower and Dakota play out there, but that's just a long, long way from home on a Friday night. So, anyways, so anything you want to add before we go, Frank?
Well, it's a week where teams look to bring home the hardware and hope, hoping all five remaining blog teams can get it done. That would be the dream scenario, but hey, good luck to all of them. Play hard, play fair, guys.
All right. And hey, Frank mentioned the podcast Bring the Wood the other day. That is available on Spotify, but if you just click the little link on our website, you can, the podcast link up top, it's like a little drop down. You can click right on that and, listen to it. It's good stuff. It was recorded the other night and came up yesterday or this morning or something like that. So, with that said, that is our show. So once again, for Gary, the absent Gary, and Frank Vajner, I am Chris Schultz, FridayNightVictors.com. Have a good evening, everyone.